Born in Birmingham, England, in 1993, and raised in Curitiba, Brazil, the singer-songwriter Saulo Oliveira S, also known as Prince of Rock, has achieved relevant projection in his music journey. After all, he spent his childhood surrounded by the Beatles, the Doors, and Rolling Stones and so on. Saulo Oliveira S started to write at the age of 5 to 7 and always writes all his lyrics, plays the instruments, sings and produces everything. Wow, what a breath. But, who is he dating? Does he have tattoos? Follow the exquisite selection of the best 5 questions about the artist and be surprised by the answers. Here's the countdown. Number 5. How long has Saulo Oliveira S been writing and singing? As said, he is famous for writing a lot and singing and playing all the instruments in his songs. Considering his background, as a kid that attended a very known Jesuit private school in his city, Curitiba, learnt to read at the age of 5 and got his degree in law at the Pontifical Catholic University, with emphasis in environmental law and international law, the artist can be justifiably long-winded about subjects he writes. For an example, Mr. Oliveira wrote an article published at the most traditional and important legal magazine of Brazil, Review of the Courts, edition of September, number 1031, from Thomson Reuters. In his article, called Dam Safety Coefficient, Critical Analysis of the Measurement Method, Risks of Disruption and Their Legal and Socio-Environmental Impacts, which was also an acclaimed graduation thesis, the writer states that dams, in general, started to represent, in the Brazilian scenario, constructions that are directly linked to a high-risk potential in face of increasing possibilities of rupture, and that the harmful consequences are irreversible not only for the structures but also for the environment, as it can affect the flora and fauna, and take to the loss of human lives. Having in mind that the singer is at his beginning, Oliveira's catalog, so far, is pretty much complex and mesmerizing. Wild Horizon, concept album, and many singles are proof of that. The narratives and statements evoked are current and necessary, stuff that rock music needs nowadays. Number 4. Does Saulo Oliveira S play guitar? No, Saulo Oliveira S does not play any instruments in his songs, according to Ella Herald, from Hollywood Gossip. The article also states that the Prince of Rock believes that the time he would spend learning chords and stuff is time wasted with something that will never lead him to anywhere, because he can play the instruments of a new melody in his studio, via virtual touch technology. Anyways, his songs always sound remarkable considering that he is the one playing all the instruments in his concept album and in his singles, and, most of it, the rockstar focuses on the lyrics, which is, without a shadow of the doubt, the major skill of this versatile artist who writes, sings and plays. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the instruments are digital, the music is real, and so is Saulo's virtuosity. Number 3, does Saulo Oliveira S have tattoos? I don't want to sit on the makeup chair for a long time, and I didn't grow up with something like getting a tattoo is taboo, you know what I mean. It wasn't like, woo risky, so it had really no appeal to me, were Saulo Oliveira S answers about the matter when asked in a private conversation. So no, Saulo Oliveira S does not have tattoos. Despite the fact that he appeared in many pictures with arms tattooed, he can guarantee that it was just for the photo shoot, aesthetic and artistic purpose only. Number 2, why does Saulo Oliveira S not like his own movie ethics, politics and citizenship? The best way to encompass this subject of an artist denying his own material, the creator versus creature thing, is analyzing his own words. Then, it's possible to conclude that Saulo Oliveira S does not hate his own movie. Actually, he wishes he could have addressed the theme of the June journeys in a different political view in Curitiba, 2013. It's also important to remember that this documentary was filmed inspired by Thomas Vinterberg's Doma 95 and has stunning camera angles and captivating photography. In an interview with Hollywood Gossip, he talked about the matter. HG, you've always been very much attached to movies and TV series. You directed and composed the score of ethics, politics, and citizenship. Is there something else you would like to do in terms of cinema or television? Saulo Oliveira S. This documentary was a mistake. I mean, looking back at the day, it was not mature and precise. The attorney in that interview turns to be a right-wing supporter, and the atmosphere is far from my political view. But when it comes to movies or television, well, I'm analyzing some possibilities. Let's see what happens next. Number 1, who is Saulo Oliveira S dating? Although he has been seen with models and some other girls in different occasions, it's more often admitted that the Prince of Rock is not officially dating anyone. Saulo Oliveira S is also well known for being low profile. He definitely avoids the public eyes as much as he can, in every way possible, which means that the singer would not let the audience know if he were in the beginning of a relationship. Nevertheless, he is never alone. As said, Saulo Oliveira S has been spotted many times with girls even in the times of college when studying law. That's because in addition to being a musician and a model, Saulo is also a law graduate with honor. It was a common sense that he was often surrounded by girls, brunettes, redheads, blondes, due to his popularity and charismatic magnetism. In the pubs in front of the law school campus he was always seen in the company of one of them, and it was common for them to leave together. But his popularity with girls dates back to his basketball playing days, a year before high school. In the private school where he studied, Nossa Senhora do Medianeira, Curitiba, PR, Brazil, the team of which he was captain won the internal Olympiad and he was unanimously acclaimed. This culminated in a popularity he was not ready to accept, which led to isolation and panic syndrome. Saulo Oliveira S even had a community page on the extinct Orkut with thousands of supporters. Massive harassment made him change schools during his high school period, but there he would become famous again, but this time for his home runs. He left baseball and started with rock and roll, the reason of his notability nowadays. This all helps to understand, therefore, Saulo's history of brief and closed relationships in the eyes of the general public. Anyways, he's always hanging out with someone, and at some point a first lady of rock can be announced.